Hello everybody, welcome back to our next video here on the What's the Story channel. Thank you for joining me once again. And we are continuing our ventures into the Void here up in the Void Storm in World of Warcraft Midnights. The next portion of this chapter of the main story has us going into the Voidspire. And I've got good news and bad news. The good news is weekly reset is today, so we can progress a little further into the raid. We only had the first 3 bosses last week, and we have the next wing open today. The bad news is we don't get to finish the raid today, at least not for this video, because as it stands right now, our second wing of the raid is only the next 2 bosses. So of the 6 bosses in this raid, this wing will only be bosses 4 and 5. We do not get the final boss for this one, unfortunately. So, we gotta work with what we got. I won't be finishing up the raid on this video. If by chance I can get into a raid sometime with, I'll check out I'll check with my guilds on my various other tunes and see if I can weasel my way into a raid run with one of them in the next few days, and hopefully record that last boss fight, so we can keep moving along here. But as it stands right now, we are only going to be able to do the next portion of the wing. I'm sorry, the next portion of the raid, which is going to be wing number 2, of course. So let's go ahead and read up on them, and we might as well just get to it. Let's see. So Voidspire. All right. So last time we downed the Imperator, Voracious, and falling King Xal'atath. Voracious was a cool fight, and I like this one. This one was a bit of a pain in the butt, but once you learn the mechanics, then it gets a little easier. And Xal'atath is pretty straightforward. There's nothing overly complicated to that one. All right. So our 2 bosses that we're going to be facing are going to be Vanguard and Xal'atath, and the light-blinded Vanguard. And I recognize these characters right here. This is important for story-wise stuff going on right here. So we'll get to them in a second, but we got to do this in order. All right. So first and foremost, Vanguard and Xal'atath. All right. Born as clutch mates in the Red Dragonflight, Vanguard and Xal'atath were once the guardians of all living things, now twisted by the dark will of Xal'atath. All that remains of their former selves is their unyielding bond to one another. All right, so these were once dragons of under oh, what the hell's the name of the Queen of Dragons? I cannot believe that is escaping me right now. Alexstrasza. Okay, they were once dragons under her, and now they are void corrupted evil dragons that we must take out. And that is Vanguard, that is Xal'atath. Yes. Good evil void dragon-y look for both of these characters right here. So I don't remember Vanguard and Xal'atath back in Dragonflight or anything like that. If you guys happen to remember these 2 dragon characters, by all means drop something in the comment section. And our second boss is the light-blinded Vanguard. All right. Once paragons of the light, Sen, Bellamy, and Lightblood. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I do know these characters. All right. These are the members of the Vanguard of the Light that have been slowly but surely losing themselves to light madness, as we kind of affectionately have been calling it on the channel lately. Yeah. So. Overcorrupted by the void, or up to overcorrupted by the light. 2 sides of the same coin. And these are the ones that were on our side, and they have been driven mad with the extreme side of the light. Alright, so. And let's see. So, once paragons of the light, Sen, Bellamy, and Lightblood have surrendered to their own blinding zealotry, their faith perverted into a ruthless fanaticism that now compels them to smite all who oppose them. It's almost like a much more extreme version of the Scarlet Crusade from way back in the day. And of course we know what these guys... There's Board Chaplain Sen, and there is General Amias Bellamy, and Commander Vanilla Lightblood. Yes, these are the we've had quite a bit of dialogue. Well, not quite a bit. Well, we've had a decent amount of dialogue and a handful of quests in the main story quest line over the last few weeks with these three characters. Whenever we've spoken with one of them, you could always tell that they're a little ornery, little on the snippy side, always a little aggravated, always a little agitated. You could tell that their demeanor was getting a little worse and a little worse and a little worse as time went on. And sure enough, within the raid, something's going to happen where, despite the fact that they've still been on our side all this time, something's going to happen in the raid, which forces us to fight them and take them out, apparently. Well, maybe we don't take them out. Maybe we just subdue them. We don't know. We'll find out. But, you know, that's what we thought with Lothraxion in the previous dungeon. We thought maybe we would just be subduing him, but nope, we took him out. Lothraxion. Dead. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and queue on up. Hopefully it won't take too long. It is the weekly reset day, so I don't think it'll take too long because people are anxious to get into this particular raid since it is open for the first time today. So, there we go. In line. There we go. And, of course, while we are waiting in line, since we have a little bit of time before we go into the raid, this is, as I do with all of the dungeon and raid-themed videos, we will chit-chat a little bit about the gameplay for these raid bosses, and we'll learn how to take these guys out and what their fights are going to be like. So it'll give us a chance to learn about these guys. All right. Ooh, wow. Average wait time 21 minutes. All right. Well, we may have quite a bit of time. So we'll read up on these guys for starters. All right. So for Valegar and Ezerak, our two Void dragons. All right. So the overview is the dragon siblings begin battling, alternating between flying and grounded combat, swapping after Midnight Flames at full power. Midnight Flames, let's see, upon reaching 100 energy, Ezerak and Gargano fly as well. Okay, so they've got a shared energy bar for this one. All right. They fly as one, each spewing 85,000 shadow damage to all players, plus an additional 14,000 shadow damage every half second. All right. Okay, so oh god, energy. So basically, energy bar fills up. They will fly overhead, and they will spew void gunk on the ground. So I don't know if this will be over the entire area that we are forced to take, or just in one kind of set given pathway area that we need to just get out of the way of. I'm assuming it's probably going to be B, but you never know. They could screw us over and give us A. All right. In response, the Light-Blood Vanguard offer aid by providing their radiant barrier to nearby players. Oh, okay. I should have read one more sentence in. All right. So the Vanguard folks are going to be part of this fight, and they're going to throw up a barrier. All right. So, yes, Sen emanates holy power for 15 seconds, blessing players within 20 yards. Every second, this supplies protection to nearby players that absorbs 19,000 Midnight Flames. If present, Bellamy and or Lightblood increase the amount of absorbed damage. 25% of Midnight Flames damage across damage pierces this absorbed. Additionally, gaining Radiant Barrier consumes Midnight Manifestation, spawning a manifestation of Midnight or infusing an existing manifestation of each aura stack consumed. Oh, okay. All right, so basically what that means is we get hit with a debuff. We go into the barrier that the Vanguard placed down on us. I'm sorry, the Light-Bound Vanguard. We'll put the barrier on a couple of players in the, or maybe just one player. No, it may be several. So they'll have several locations, I'm assuming, where barriers pop up during the Midnight Flame attack, and we go into the barrier to reduce damage and remove the debuff. But when the debuff is removed, then an evil void spawn comes off of us or something like. So we're probably gonna have to fight like little mini void blob ads. I'm assuming. I'm guessing that's what that means. All right. So eventually, both dragons land, combining their draconic might to annihilate players once and for all. All right. Well, hopefully that barrier will help us out a little bit here. All right. So, for the damage dealers, this is stuff we got to look out for. Gloom applies Gloom Touched upon contact and shrinks the Gloom field formed. All right. So Gloom. Xal'atath ejects a moving mass of pure darkness in a frontal. Okay. So frontal cone attack. Damage to all players, creating a gloom field. Gloom damage done to the size of gloom field decreases up to 4 times as players contact the darkness. Alright, so a dark malady drips from those in contact with gloom, inflicting damage done every 3 seconds. Alright, so I think this is okay, and shrinks the okay, so shrinks the gloom field formed. Alright. Applies gloom touched upon contact and shrinks the gloom field. Galactic emptiness engulfs a massive location in darkness for a minute and a half, inflicting 12,000 shadow damage every 5. Okay, so Alright, so I'm assuming what that means is Xal'atath has a spell called Gloom. It's a big old mass of darkness that's in that cone attack, and it leaves behind, and anyone that gets hit by it gets something called Gloom Touched, and wherever we stand, we leave behind gunk on the ground. That leaves the gloom field. All right, so that's it. So avoid. So bottom line is avoid gloom, so we don't get the debuff that makes us leave crap on the ground. That will hurt our fellow teammates. Pretty sure that's what that means. All right, Null Beam creates a null zone, tethering players, causing null step while stretching the tether. Alright, so Vanguard has a similar effect where he spews something, expels crystalline space-time every half second for 4 seconds to players in a frontal direction, and another frontal cone attack. This outpouring inflicts 68,000 physical damage and additional 2,000 shadow damage. Upon completion, the lattice shatters, forming a null zone, and the null zone forms an unstable rift which tethers players, pulling inward and inflicting shadow damage. Stretching this tether in an additional 10 yards beyond the initial radius triggers a null snap, and it's not a shatter inflicting damage to all players. All right, okay, all right. So this is a tether attack. I can't remember which bosses that we've had something similar to this before. I know we've had a dungeon boss at some point where we got attacked, or maybe it was a raid boss, where we get tethered to another player. And when you get tethered to that other player, there's a little line that's between you, and you have to walk away from each other to snap the tether and get that off of both characters. But when the tether does get snapped, there's a slight little bit of damage there, but it's only a tiny little damage. It's only 5,000 damage, and that's a drop in the well when you've got 320,000 HP. All right, Void Howl. This is another attack from Xal'atath. All right, Void Howl. It wreathes all players in shadow, inflicting 85,000 damage to each player, right? And it summons a Void Orb at each player's location. All right, so it's basically another void attack, and it spawns more mini ads, so little void orbs come out. All right, it's some void orbs which continually cast void bolt. All right, and the orbs do something called void bolt, which is it ejects raw void magic at a player, inflicting 25,000. Okay, so it's shadow bolt. Okay, so the howl comes out and it summons void orbs, and bolts come out of the orbs. And, ooh, and we are in. We are in. All right. I did not expect to get in so fast. All right. All right. Provided we do have any. All right. So in the healers, that's all the same stuff, and tanks have all the same stuff. Tanks have to look out for something called Rakfang and Veil Wing, and that empower the dragon and they cast them on the same target. All right, and those are the big one-shot, really strong one-shot physical attacks. 255,000 damage. Yeah, so yeah, Ezerak does something called Rakfang for the tanks. All right, so we got to be careful of that stuff right there. All right, and oh, see, 4 people. 4 people. We're not paying attention. All right, so we're not in the raid just yet. So we haven't. Oh, but never mind. Okay, let's see if we get in this time. All right. All right. So no meaning. Grappling Maw is another one. While flying, the dragon lashes their primary target in cosmic entanglement, inflicting between 50,000 and 500,000 damage, increasing in damage as distance between the dragon and their target increases. All right. So. Grappling Maw. Okay, so avoid Grappling Maw. This is when the dragons are flying above at one point. I don't know if they're going to shoot down little grappling hooks or whatever the case may be, and then pull them up. We'll find out. All right. Well, that's kind of the gist of the first boss, at least. So we got to learn about them, but we'll be flying blind when we go into to fight the Vanguard. All right. So this is coming back from Fallen King Saladar. We have just finished this, and then the team comes back center, and then as we go up center, we'll be getting through all of these trash mobs. And incidentally, I have turned down my sound effects on this, because it seemed like the sound effects were coming out pretty loud in recent videos, so I turned down effects, and hopefully everything should be not quite as incredibly loud on that end. So not a whole lot of trash before this particular boss. All right, the evil void dragons. Here we go. All right, I more or less got the gist of how this fight goes. So hopefully it will be okay. Presence of the Lightbound Vanguard weakens this enemy's vitality, reducing their maximum health by 15% and damage done by 15%. Huh, alright, so there's an extra little mechanic with the 3 Vanguard folks, and they, where their damage is gone, it goes down by 15%. 5% per each one. Maybe it's one of those things that if you're doing this on normal or above, then the previous 3 bosses, when you down each one of those 3 bosses, then we get the additional buffs to take these guys out. Ah, come on.
You cannot escape.
AoE those suckers so they go down. Alright. I better get closer to my other teammates, just in case. I don't want to run too far away from a healer, just in case I get some nasty damage on something. All right. Oh, hell. Out of the way of that. Alright, so far so good.
Come to the light blessing.
Alright, yep, there's our little gross little guy right there. Alright, now we get in we stay in the barrier while you can see our tanks, one of our tanks placed our big old void thing off to the side. I'm just going to stay on the Ezrak for now. Bit by bit, we're just chopping the tree down.
You cannot escape.
Damn it. Wow. Okay. Where the hell's the thing? Alright. There we go. Oh, boy. Needed to get the hell out of the way of that right there. Alright. Back up again. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, but the barrier. No, but the barrier. This isn't going to work because the barrier's not in. The barrier's in the thing. Shit. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Ah, no. Wow. I can't believe I survived that shit. Oh, they do not share. They do not share HP. Ezrak is 10. Okay, so. Alright. Ah, damn it. Knocked me right off the goddamn thing. We got him. You're going down, boys. You're going down. Nice. Got him.
Careful, Alea. It seems she's getting to you.
She's the one who needs to be careful. I will turn the void itself against her.
And no loot. No loot for this one. Oh, man.
I am
Oh,
the
wow.
flame of judgment! Burn!
You'll burn only yourself! You can come back from this! I mustn't stray. Mustn't.
Alright.
We all stray, sometimes. What's important is finding our way back.
Yeah, already starting to feel it. Already starting to feel it. Alright. Void jellyfishes. Ah. Getting out of the way of that.
Shadows and lies. Don't you see, Duralian? All who tolerate the void are our enemy.
No! No, not all. Get a hold of yourself, Bellamy. Breathe. Let go of the rage. For now.
Oh, wow. Nice little chunk of gold. A harrower. Alright. Alright, so we just gotta go around the whole center area and just kind of go halfway around. Okay, so they're on this side. Okay. Oh, hell. I got him. Hold on. I'm getting the message on my laptop. That's nothing. It's nothing. Nothing big. Oh, lordy. Alright. Crap. Hold on a second, guys. My screw on the back of my chair came off a couple days ago, and I've been fighting to keep the back of my chair together. Oh, Lord. All right. Honestly, I'm gonna cheat and just mount up. There you go. Well, there's a couple people behind. Alright, so now they've become overwrought. Well, we didn't really have... Alright, so the last bit of dialogue was just Bellamy. And now they're... now they've become overwrought. And there's... yeah, no, that's kind of disappointing. I thought there would be... there would be some kind of... There really should have been some kind of dialogue right here. They needed something here, because it just... Okay, it's just... They turn red. Okay, we're bad now. I was like... Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's... You're missing that extra piece of the story that makes me want to go into this fight.
That turn their back on the light. The light demanded you shield not only for protection. Be crushed by the light's will.
Your body shall be broken!
The light field is heavy.
You will be crushed!
The light's blessing be our bulwark. The light demands your surrender.
Your body shall be broken!
I'm gonna get out of the way of that crap right there. Alright, whoa.
Be crushed by the light's will.
Okay, so Bellamy hops on her Elec mount and does charges.
Your body shall be broken!
The light field is heavy.
You will be crushed!
Shield not only for protection.
Going against the light will reveal its wrath! Out of mercy! Now is the time for retribution!
The light field is heavy.
You will be crushed!
This is another one where they do not share HP, so we gotta be real careful not to... Probably be really careful not to take one out too soon, because I'm sure this is one of those situations where if one goes down, then the other two become stronger.
You will be crushed!
The light silence brings
Shield not only for the light demands your performance.
Your body shall be broken!
The light shield is heavy.
You will be crushed!
Shield not only for protection. Be crushed by the light's will. The light shield is heavy.
You will be crushed!
Shield not only for protection.
Ah, damn it. Anyway, I do that.
Your body shall be broken!
The light shield is heavy.
You will be crushed!
Be crushed by the light's will.
Alright.
Shield not only for protection.
Your body shall be broken!
Almost there.
The light's blessing be our
More than halfway.
bulwark.
Well, not almost, but certainly more than halfway there, so that's a big help. Oh,
Be crushed by the light's will.
Your body shall be broken!
yeah. Yeah, Bellamy shoots out those damn light discs. That is a big old pain in the butt right there. Oh my god, come on. There we go.
Shield not
Now we
only
got
for
it.
protection.
Your body shall be broken!
get a light thrill!
Boy.
The light field is heavy!
You will be crushed!
Shield not only for protection,
Your body shall be broken!
the light field is heavy!
You will be crushed!
The light spirals brings
The light is Xal'atath!
Your body shall be broken!
The light field is heavy!
You will be crushed!
Shield not only for protection,
Your body shall be broken!
All right, almost there.
be crushed by the
Almost
light
there.
thrill! Shield not only for protection, but
Your body shall
Bellamy
be
goes
broken!
down. That's one.
Let the light and heat.
All right. Fennel goes down. There we go.
guided my
There we go. Fanatics of the Light completed. And there's nothing. And we get nothing. Well, drats. All right. Well, I guess that'll do it, guys. I was really hoping there was going to be a little bit more story to this wing than what we had. I would have liked a little bit of background with those two dragons. You know, give us a little bit more explanation as to why two void dragons were in the middle of that. I mean, in the explanation of the overview of that boss, they mentioned they used to be members of the Red Dragon Flight. It would have been nice if they could just toss in a couple of pieces of dialogue saying that they used to work for Alistraza and now they work for the Void or something along those lines. That kind of central theme would have been a little better. Going to on the way to boss number 5 from boss number 4, we had a couple of little brief moments where we come across two of our light people. That you know, there was that moment with Venel and then moment with Bellamy, where it looks like they were turning and they were fighting it off, but when we get to the top, all of a sudden all three of them are just standing there, and then boom, they turn red. So boom, we're bad guys now. That's it, we're bad guys now, and no explanation beyond that. This could have been done better. This could have been done better. They really should have taken at least 15 seconds. 15 seconds of dialogue would have been enough to raise the stakes of both of those fights. A little 15-second scene before each one of those boss fights would have made it a lot more interesting, and I would have cared a lot more going into those fights. So. Oh, sorry guys. It looks like Blizzard dropped the ball on this one as far as storyline goes. The fights themselves were fun. You know, I'm not gonna lie. They were decent enough fights. They weren't overly easy, but they weren't overly hard. You know, but it is Raid Finder after all, so it's you know, the mediocre version of both. I'm sure they're probably way more hard on Mythic for this one. But I'm afraid that's all we got for this one, guys. There's nothing more to it. If there's anything that you may have noticed that I did not, then by all means put something in the comment section and we'll talk about it. Because, you know, after all, the whole purpose of this channel is to talk about the characters and the story. It is the What's the Story channel after all. So if you have anything further that you want to add into the background of the characters, especially our Vanguard, our light Vanguard characters. If you thought that maybe we had enough story with them prior to the raid, and we didn't need to see any more, then, you know, let me know, you know? I want to hear your opinions out there. Again, I really could have used just a little dialogue going into that fight, so I would care about the stakes of the fight a little bit more. But, you know what, that'll do it. That'll do it for this video, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that notification bell if you like watching these videos where we talk about the characters in the story as much as possible. And hopefully we'll get to our final raid boss. I'll try to sneak into a raid sometime this week, but if I'm not able to and I can't find a raid group to go in with, then we're just going to have to wait until next Tuesday. It may be a whole 7 more days until you see me again with our next video. So that'll do it for now. Hopefully hopefully we'll get our final raid boss done sometime this week. So whenever that may be. Until then, ta-ta for now.